started. Awesome. All right, everyone, welcome to our masterclass for December of 2024. And our theme for today is about living an authentically spiritual life. So we're going to take a deep dive into what is spirituality and spirit and all of that. So I know Liz is with us for a short time this morning. She has to jump off to work, but I said, come for what you can and share your wins. So we're going to just do a welcome, a few announcements, and then our gratitude and win shares. So, and with the numbers today, we'll be able to do lots of collaboration this morning. So beautiful to be here. So let's just take a moment and really just land here. You know, we've all come from something, looking at the clock, gathering our things, whatever it is that we wanted to do before. And it's just that moment to land where we are. So I invite you to anchor your feet. And even if you're sitting and can feel your seat behind you, your back of your chair, just to sit up through your spine. And you may keep eyes open or closed. I will close mine. And just place one hand on your heart for a moment and another on your belly. And as you take a few gentle breaths in, remember when we're breathing, it is the act of receiving through the inhale and the act of giving through the exhale. And the balance in life is that we give as much as we have to give, and therefore we have a time where we need to receive in order to give. Now just imagine that there's this energetic bridge between your belly, that would be your sacrum, root chakra area, and your heart. And just imagine that you're drawing the energy as you breathe in, you're breathing into the belly, up into your heart. And then exhaling from your heart down to the belly, connecting these two chakras. The sacral chakra is about unconditional love of self. This is where our wisdom lies. In the sacral chakra, continue to breathe the bridge between the belly and the heart. And in the sacral chakra, this is where we have a relationship with ourself, this knowing of self, who we are at our essence, and that we can be in relationship with others without losing ourselves while maintaining that connection to self. And as we breathe up through the solar plexus, the power of 1,000 suns, up into the heart, fourth chakra. The heart is that space of greater love. That when we operate and come from a place of love, we speak with curiosity. We listen with curiosity. We speak soul to soul. Seek to understand and then to be understood. Just take one more beautiful breath from the sacral chakra up into your heart. And exhale back down to land back home to self. Yeah. This is a practice that I do. We're going to learn an even shorter practice today. But even when I go from one thing to the next, or client, to client, it was more so in that rush sense when I was in the studio, that I would take a moment just to come back home to self, wash my hands, shake, really just clear and land back home, so that anytime I stepped into the next conversation, that I was able to be fully present. So beautiful. Just a couple of announcements before we jump into our shares here. I want to make sure that we have all of our dates and things. So Our next movement class is always the third Monday of each month, Monday, December 16th at 5 p.m. It's 45 minutes, and then sometimes our Savasana, our meditation goes till 6 o'clock. So do leave an hour in case I get into it, as I do. And then our next master class is Wednesday, January 8th at 9:30 a.m. And I'm going to be sending out a link because January will be our last month together. I'll be inviting you to a celebration at the end of January where it will look different than a master class, but really a true celebration on what you committed to and celebrating sort of what occurred. And I promise there'll be juicy nuggets. I'll send a date out for that, but it's likely going to be the last Wednesday of January. But between now and our masterclass in January, I invite you to book a one-on-one wrap-up session with me. And it's just an intimate time for you and I together to connect. And so I will send out a link for that after today. And what we will also be able to discuss is to the opportunity to continue this journey. I think of programs like this, ones that I have done, ones that I continue to go into repeatedly, as more of a container. There's always things that we learn in programs. We learn newly, but this space of conscious awakening, it is a mountain with no top. And I know for me personally, I need to be in a container of conversation to support me on staying on track. I did some different programs years ago, and then I didn't do any for a while, and I could feel a difference. And then I went back into conversations with, different programs, different coaches, things like that, or just masterminds with friends. So I invite you to consider continuing in this container into 2025, or finding a container that keeps you in this work, in this conversation. Even if it's something different, even if it's, people have book clubs, you could have conscious awakening mastermind groups where you get together and chat, but how can we stay in this conversation? So also coming up, you may have received emails to this, hopefully you did, and it's about 3 keys to purpose clarity in midlife. This will be along the lines of creating your passion list. And if you didn't attend my masterclass series at the end of August on creating your passions, then this would be a great one for you to attend. It is free. It is all 3 days starting tomorrow from 9 to 10 Pacific. And what we're going to be doing here is looking at your top passions and how do we narrow it down to your top 5 passion lists. Even if you've done it, doing it again is good. You're going to learn tomorrow that we want to be relooking at these over and over and over again. And if it's been a few months, it's a good time to revisit, because what you love and what you care about and what matters to you most is no accident. And it's the same thing that it's no accident that when you are not living into what matters, what you care about, that we feel discord, we feel a sense of frustration or angst. Life isn't flowing as smoothly. So revisiting what your top passions are, because they change over time, is so important to you continuing to live in alignment to what matters to you most. So I will put the link to that in the chat so you can click on that and join, or you can share with others if there's someone you know that you think would be interested in attending that. It's a lot of fun. Once you get your top passions, I'm also going to share, what do you do with it? How do you know you're living a passionate life? So we'll definitely create all of that. But before we jump into the content, I welcome you all to share either wins, or you can share gratitude. So if you're feeling like, wow, this month, I didn't really notice much, what can we be grateful for in this month? Who has a share? Who has something they would like to say? Go ahead, Liz.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I've missed the classes. Yeah, I have lots of wins. Thank you, Linda. I got a new place. I got a new job. My health turned around. I got my diabetes under control. I joined a gym. I got baptized. I continue to live in joy and passion. And yeah,
Wow.
lots of wins. Lost 18 pounds since the 6 days in emergency in July, and got new glasses and make enough money to live month to month now instead of always being worried about money. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Thanks again, Linda.
Well, and thank you for the acknowledgement, Liz. And I have never seen a more resourceful person. You know, who can relate to when you feel like world is crashing down around you and you're literally lying in fetal position, you don't know what to do, and you simply go, what, you give it up to your spirit allies and you say, guide me, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I saw you in that moment, Liz, and then you literally rose step by step. You literally struck like lightning in all directions, like your life depended on it.
Yeah.
And the breakthrough is when you're in it, sometimes you don't see that you will get out of it.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing Liz, who, this was back in April, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
When things got like, wow.
Yeah.
And now here we are 6 months later. So beautiful, Liz. I just want to acknowledge you for doing the work. You know, when you play full out and you do the work, things happen and things move.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, thank you to Linda. You were there for me. And yeah, I was at my bottom, at the worst place, and Linda was there for me. So I acknowledge you again for that. And thank you. And I do have to jump off in 15 minutes to go to work. Yay.
Yeah, right. She's got a job. So great. So great. So great. Yeah, beautiful. And so that might seem like, wow, a big win. And what I have to share is so small. Keep in mind, this happened to Liz over a 6 month period of time, but she has not been able to jump on live. So, you know, it's a reminder, life happens. Gosh, who would like to go next? Gratitudes or wins? Anything to share? If you don't, that's okay. You can go past, and maybe something will come up later for you. Ethel, go ahead.
Congratulations, Liz. That is wonderful. It's just amazing. And through Linda and through you, and you're in your place. And so congratulations. That's wonderful. No glasses, cataracts done. So still adjusting to the image. So that's one thing. No glasses, no makeup, real. And I'm in process that way, but I'm thankful for my vision. I am thankful that we live in these times where we can do what we're able to do. Yeah, there are many wins. And so I'll just focus on that one right now because it's the most immediate. I'm looking at myself in the camera and going, oh. And celebrating it at the same time.
So beautiful to see you in all your beauty.
Thank you.
And all you bring. And you're radiant. Thank you. Who else? Sharon or Carol, do you have a gratitude, something you're grateful for? Go ahead, Sharon.
Okay, I guess it's sort of started out not a win, but I have to switch my cell phone. It's with the federal government from Simply Connect to this red wireless of Rogers. And I keep getting messages and envelopes. Anyway, I was following all the instructions to do, but the fellow who set it up, he screwed the whole thing up. So by yesterday, and I wasn't sleeping at night, I was left with nobody else to help me. So I thought, okay, but what about everything that Linda, what we've been doing? So I got my notes out and I thought, I've got to get some, I got to handle this. So I don't know what I did yesterday morning, but I woke up and I just decided I couldn't get the original fellow. And I got through to a woman in Manitoba. See, it takes a woman. I told her what was going on. I stayed calm, understood. She stayed on. And it took about a little more than a half an hour, and she was able to straighten everything out. And I thought, okay, why did I do all that worrying and everything? And I think, you're overtired, you get caught up in it. And also, too, I'm still waiting for cataract surgery. And I'm putting all these darn drops in my eyes 4 times a day, and then I'm forgetting the middle of the day and wondering when I'm going to get the surgery in the new year. And then found out some other health news that isn't good. And I just thought, oh my God, somehow I have to try to go back, just calm down and it's when you have the sleep, you think a lot better and deal with the tough stuff first thing in the day, which is one of your activations. And when you do that, it's all resolved. The phone is on its way. I hope it makes it, but I'm not even going to think about it.
Beautiful.
And I was able to set it up online myself. So,
beautiful.
And congratulations to Liz also. I know what it's like to have tough times.
Thank you, Sharon. And this is it, right? It's not that we're all, always life. It's like, I'm in a situation and what do I do, right? What's my intention? What's the choice that I'm going to make? And so beautiful, Sharon. And to really get when we're best to deal with certain challenges, right? Just go to bed and it'll be there in the morning when I have a clear mind. Beautiful. Thank you. Carol.
I'm here. I'm grateful I'm here. I have had a lot of loss lately. And so that's not necessarily something you want to share, but I do have a big win and I'm very grateful for it. I'm going to be a grandma.
You're going to Panama?
I'm going to be a grandma.
Oh, grandma.
For the first time. For the very first time. So I've had some loss with family, close family and friends, and in the last 2 months. So it's been tough, but now I'm going to have a grandbaby. So things have a way of balancing out. Yeah. And I have been going over my intentions. Most of them have been very helpful all year, but it's like you want to rewrite them all when you're upset.
Toss them out the window.
Okay. I'm joyful and abundant. Well, I guess I am. I'm abundant. I have my family, I have my kids, and now I'm going to have a grandkid. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Carol, and much love to you and your family with all that you are dealing with in the grieving process. And our hearts are with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Thank you for all of that. And this is life, right? This is life. Life is like this. And part of the process and what we're learning through this work of bioenergetics is how do we manage in a way that is smooth, that we can generate meaning and connection and love. And we're here to experience all feelings. None of them are good or bad, they just are. And they express themselves in different ways. And the grieving is really showing that we've loved and that we have people in our life that mattered and made a difference. And that they are always there and around you. And it's a journey. And you've been through it.
The journey is great.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So beautiful. Okay. So the intention is that our work today helps you all with whatever maybe little things that you're kind of up against right now, right? Things, we come up against things. And so how do we navigate through them? And honestly, that is what is so unique about this program is that space of embodiment, and that we drop into the body and come into our wisdom center and breathe in such a way that it allows us to be connected to your true empowerment and to the divine love that you are. And the different things that you are feeling and experiencing underneath all of that is you as your essence of love. And when we use this as the come from, when we sense and feel and discover what's underneath your mind, Sharon shared she was getting caught up in the mind at night, right? Okay, I don't do so well. I'm getting caught up in worry. And in the morning, you are able to clearly go, what's my next best step, and create a solution. So when we come into the body of embodiment and sense and feel and listen to the gut instinct and the intuition and go even deeper down into our root chakra of I am. What is it here that I'm to discover to, that coming back home to yourself? That's where we find the healer within, and where we find the creative genius that is within you. And like in even Liz's share, it was at this point of, what do I do? And when she got quiet and reached out and asked for support and started to think about, what is my next best move? If something was happening for a higher purpose, what is that? It's coming into that stillness and that quiet and going within, that the answers will come. And they may come in words, they may come in images, they may come in a feeling of openness and expansion. And that's what we're going to look at today. And this is why we meet once a month. This is why we move our bodies once a month in the somatics practice. This is why we have the weekly activations, is to help keep us, remind us, no, not here. Oh, I'm getting up in here because I'm feeling shut down. I'm feeling constricted. I'm worrying. Wait, that doesn't feel good. So it's about coming from a different come from, where we can create ease and surrender and letting go, being aware of what no longer serves us. Sharon shared, it didn't work. I knew it wasn't serving me to worry. So go to bed, wake up fresh, right? This is the piece, right? We get to the thank you faster, right? We come up against something. If this were to happen for a higher purpose, what would that be? And then we start to see, this is what it is. I'm accessing a deeper wisdom. I'm understanding a deeper love. I'm understanding more compassion. I'm showing up differently for others. I'm showing up differently. And so our come from creates more ease and surrender. So I do invite you to revisit the activations if you haven't listened to them, if you're cooking dinner, going for a walk, just, to be in the, I even listen to them, who likes listening to their own voice? Not too many people, but I do listen to them again, because the message, it just hits me deeper and deeper in my heart center. So all of you here joined this program 10 months ago. And thank you, Carol, for just sort of bringing up the intentions. And Liz and I had a conversation this weekend, and we were talking about the intentions. So we joined the program in hopes that it would shift something or create something for you. There is something in the promise of this program that you're like, yeah, I'm going to invest my time and energy in this work. And then the next step that we did together is that we set intentions to give us a GPS, if you will, to land there, and to create that clarity and focus on what you wanted for yourself. So I invited you to have your intentions present with you. And so just for a moment, to look at your 3 intentions and just notice where you're at with them. Consider what's shifted, what's moved, what's experienced. Maybe you're like, wow, that nothing happened, or wow, I've realized all my intentions. You know, when Liz and I were chatting, she's like, Linda, I think I realized all my intentions have happened. Now, sometimes when we set our intentions, they do happen right away. And sometimes we set them and it takes more time. What's important is even if you've achieved only 5% of your intentions, it's critical to celebrate it, to acknowledge and notice, you know, I'm on that road. I'm there. Like in my last year when I set my intentions, like in 2023, they actually came pretty fast. This year, my intentions have been like on a slow cooker. And part of me had me go, wow, this year's been like, you know, not as fun as last year because my intentions were happening and I was grooving and moving and all this stuff. And this year's been a little bit more of a slow burner, but I know I'm moving in that direction. So one of the reasons we share gratitude or wins, even if they feel like you're really digging deep to find that win, what you appreciate appreciates. What you appreciate appreciates. So has anyone heard the book? Gosh, I can't remember what year it came out, but The 1 Minute Manager. I mean, it was back 35, 40 years ago that The 1 Minute Manager came out. Anyone hear about that one? All right, no worries if you haven't. But The 1 Minute Manager, it's about, it was kind of along the premise of like the 4-day work week, right? Is that, you know, how do we generate things in a faster, smoother, easier way? And this book was very, very big on celebrating. And this is what we talk about around energy and vibration, is that the more that you celebrate, the more you have to celebrate. The more you celebrate, the more you see. You buy a red car, all of a sudden you see red cars all over the place. You buy a Tesla, you see Teslas all over the place. Right? This is what happens. So what is it that we're wanting to call in and celebrate the little gifts along the way? So an invitation, as you're reflecting on your intentions, is to recommit to writing down your wins, even the little ones, and find yourself celebrating more. The other piece around your intentions that I invite you to consider is that they may show up in unexpected ways. I have adjusted the wording of, yes, right. Thank you, Ethel. I've adjusted the wording of my intentions. I've tweaked them as the years gone on to try and get more clarity on what I'm narrowing in on. And my original intention was that I have abundance in all areas, financial abundance in all areas of my life. And I tweaked it to I graciously accept and receive financial abundance in all areas of my life. And when I shifted that, abundance started showing up in different ways. So an example is my mother-in-law from my late husband. She had lost her husband a year and a half ago, and she said, Linda, I want to take you and your 3 kids to Mexico for Christmas. And I at first was like, oh, Sue, thank you so much. I can't afford it at this point. It's not in my budget. And she said, you don't understand. I want to treat you guys. So for the first time in years, I've been dreaming of being away at Christmas for years, is that I graciously accepted and received the gift of my mother-in-law taking myself and there's 4 because my daughter's married, 4 kids to Mexico for Christmas. And wow, are we excited and delighted and elated to have this time together. So that it showed up differently. I have a woman that I coach, that was my coach for 18 months. And her program is expensive. Like she charges around $600 an hour. And not at this point, not in my budget. And she invited me into her program. And I said, at this time, this is not something that I'm going to choose to do. And she called me back and she said, well, what can you afford? And then I was still a no. And she called me back again and she said, Linda, I really sense that this would be a great thing for you. So we ended up working out a contra. And so that again is graciously accepting and receiving. So it looked different than I thought. And it wasn't until I tweaked the words that it started to show up differently. So does anyone have any questions or comments or just concerns around your intentions that you're wondering about? Yeah, go ahead, Ethel.
Yeah. As I listened to you, Linda, what struck me was that you, and this is my own, but it's about receiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm open to receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And that these people came forward with their gifts, and before you went, maybe, I don't know, me do it myself, but you know, you were so gracious in the reception, and yeah, open to receiving is one of my daily mantras. Not always, I'm growing in that way.
And this is it, you know, we're growing and expanding. And yeah, thank you for that, Ethel. And it's I got up against some stuff, right? Being vulnerable, right? And accepting love in and saying thank you. And the more we receive, the more we're open to receiving, the more gifts that come in many, many forms. In many, many forms. So it can be both and things might come in an unexpected way, which is where the intentions, we want them specific, but not anchored to exactly how it could go, right? You know, it's like when people try and manifest a man in their life, well, he might not be 6 feet tall with brown hair, blue eyes. He might be 5'3" and, you know, no hair and brown eyes. But it's what you're creating, the feeling. How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? Good. So is that helpful when you're looking at your intentions? Okay. Anything else before we move on around your intentions? Thank you, Liz. Beautiful to see you, and thank you for sharing.
So, Linda,
Yeah.
My first intention was, and is successful. It feels right. It's still the same. I'm joyful and content in the beauty of my new surroundings. I made a big move, and it's finally all coming together, and I love it there. I love my new space. My second intention was I'm joyful and abundant and always expect the best. But how do you do that when you're feeling sad? So I think you're right. I have to change the wording because when you're grieving, you've had losses. It's how do you continue to expect the best?
Mm-hmm.
So I think your suggestion of changing the words to being open to receiving is very insightful. It's very helpful. I need to change my intention.
Okay, yeah, and this is what we do, right? As life evolves and we evolve, things change. So may I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you say always expect the best, what does that mean to you, the best, accept the best?
Just to be positive that everything is going to be okay. But I don't feel that way.
Yeah. Is that, you know, trusting in the universe and that everything happens for a reason. What we cannot escape is the life journey.
Right.
Aging is inevitable. We cannot escape it. One thing is for sure, at some point, our experience here as a human being in this physical way
Mm.
will come to an end for all of us. And so considering that, what you could reframe what the best means to you, or you can shift the words so it resonates more with these incredible journeys that we have in life.
Yeah.
To give space.
I want to expect the best, but how do you rise above feeling like every time you turn around, there's something that's happening that's not the best? I lost my sister, and then a month later, a dear friend who's like a brother, and it leaves a big hole.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling to stay positive. I'm struggling to feel like I can always expect the best.
So it's okay not to feel okay.
Thanks.
It's okay to not have to be okay. You don't have to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to allow yourself this time to feel what you feel, and to be okay to feel what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really important part of grieving, is to allow yourself to experience the feelings of what's going on for you as a result of loving people so deeply who have now transitioned out of physical form.
Yeah.
To miss them.
And they both went like way too soon. It's hard to accept.
Yeah. And you don't have to accept or not accept. It's just being with how you're feeling. And to allow.
Feeling sad.
Yeah.
And angry.
Yeah. They've left you. Is that feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't give them a call. I can't do a FaceTime with them like we used to.
Yeah.
It's just hard to accept. Mm-hmm.
One of the things Dr. Sue had said, someone had asked about when in one of the courses I was in, they said, how do you manage when you're in that really deep, heavy part of grief, where it's just so raw and so painful that you just don't even know how you can get up and do your day, when it's just so. And one of the things Dr. Sue said that I just thought was precious was, she said, one of the things that happens when a loved one passes is that we feel that they are so far away, that we can't reach them, that they've gone.
Mm-hmm.
And when we consider that we are all finite, we are all pure consciousness, that maybe they're not as far away as we think. And it just looks different. It just looks different. It could be a feeling in your heart of love, of gratitude, of what you've experienced from being with them in their life. And I get sometimes that's hard to grasp and feel. So then the next question is, what do I do in this moment when I'm feeling this way? And really, it's about coming down into your core and breathing into your belly and generating that space of just absolute loving presence. At the end of the day, it all comes down to love. Everything, when it's all stripped away, it's love.
Mm-hmm.
And to breathe into your belly.
Yes, I've done that a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And give yourself the space just to be however you need to be. Anyone else have anything to share or add? Yeah, go ahead, Ethel.
I guess I'm just struck, you talked about the word best. And in my healing practice and in my life, share another one of my mantras, because it's for the highest good.
Mm-hmm.
And I, as a 3D person, can't know what is for the highest good. So when I release for me that knowing what's best, I guess that's the unexpected, not looking like, but that for me, then things can flow through me as opposed to me knowing. So,
I think when I use the word always expect, the phrase always expect the best, I was trying to get to a new stage in my life where I just wanted things to, I wanted to focus on making it better. So maybe expecting the best isn't the right phrase. Yeah.
Well,
Thanks,
and I love what you said there, Ethel. Thank you. And Sharon, I saw your hand, so we'll get to you. Is what Ethel said is, for the greatest good, the highest vibrational outcome. And although it's difficult for us to be with the grieving of a loved one passing, there is a reason that now is their time for the highest good, the greatest good. And so it may not always be how we would choose it to go, but if we trust that it's for the greatest good and we send that vibration for the greatest good, can you hear the front side versus the back side of the model in there? Right. The best has a judgment behind it, right? It's your perception of what the best is. So there can be that sense of judgment, or not blame or shame, but within that side of things. But the greatest vibrational outcome is that it's for the greatest good of all involved, the earth and humanity, and to trust. So thank you for that distinction on that, Ethel. And so perhaps, there's might be something else that comes, but that I expect that the greatest good will occur in my life for those around me. Yeah, thank you for that. Sharon, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I understand, because really right now there's only, well, sometimes me left, but I do have a brother and a niece who live in San Diego. But Linda helped me with her mother, which was the ex-wife of my brother, interfering and wanting more money from me again. Not hi, how are you? Back in the summertime. I have never heard from them again, even though I've tried to call, text, and email. And I guess through all the learnings in this intention of life, and then with your help, I've tried to look at this in a different way. And when I'm rested and feel good, I realize that really there's only me now. There's me looking after me, and my family are my friends. So this is who I look for, but I try to be strong myself. And I still miss my partner, over 20 years and that. But it's amazing how I've actually adjusted to this, because I'm a very sensitive, emotional person. So I'm sort of proud of myself. Christmas is coming up, and I'm moving on, and I'm working on my intentions. I've only done a little bit in each one. So you're right. Maybe when we work on, I'll reword them. But you're right. Life moves on. And I just have to maybe help other people out, or you'd have to find some way to do things differently. And this is what I've adjusted and what I'm doing. I hope someday I might hear from them again, but I'm not going to dwell on that. you have to move forward in your life.
Yeah. And we send them love. For
And
the
I still,
highest.
yeah, I still send them love. There'll be tough days, I know, but I'll get through it.
Thank you, Sharon. Yeah. We're all here on our own bus stop conversation. You may recall back, I guess we did the bus stop conversation in the springtime, and everyone has their own bus stop conversation. We are part of each other's bus stop conversation. Why? Because we're connected. And we're all on our own journey within that bus stop conversation. Yeah. Beautiful. So this conversation may be helpful to you in what you're each sort of finding showing up in your life, and that's quite often how it works. So we'll move into, what does it mean to live an authentically spiritual life? And when I started to think about this spiritual word, I'd hear people say, oh, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And sometimes I'm like, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to have this spiritual life? And so I started to look deeper into what the spirit is. It's spirituality, spirit, inspired. When we're inspired, are we in spirit? And we may even describe somebody as being spirited. So as I was sort of playing around with this, I went into Chat GPT, which I've been having a lot of fun with lately. And, I've been told, people say, you have such a great spirit, or she has such a great spirit. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And so she has a great spirit, could be described as someone who has a positive attitude, resilient, a strong sense of determination. She has a great spirit, is uplifting, inspiring, and able to bring out the best in themselves and others. She has a great spirit, brings kindness, optimism, and a willingness to overcome challenges with grace and courage. And Carol, I would venture to share that being open and vulnerable to saying, I don't know what to do with all of this, is actually that, right? To allow ourselves to show up vulnerably and say, I don't know what to do with all of this, is actually grace and courage. And she has a great spirit, could also be described as a person with a great spirit, radiates positivity and a sense of inner strength. Some willingness to go there, to level each other up, to lean in with curiosity, to grow and learn. So then the next question I was asking myself was, what is the link between a great spirit and spirituality? So how do we know when we are living in the spiritual life, living an authentic spiritual life? Well, it could be a reflection of our inner strength, resilient positivity is generally an elevated state of being. Having a great spirit involves nurturing a strong connection with one's inner self, one's higher power, or a sense of greater purpose. So when we're reflecting on our intentions, does some of this come forward in your intentions? Exploring and developing one's beliefs and values and sense of meaning in life. What I mentioned at the beginning is passions. What we're passionate about and what matters to us is one and the same. Our passions are breadcrumbs to our purpose, and they're connected to our beliefs and our values and our sense of meaning in life, which contributes to inner peace, harmony, and fulfillment. Ultimately, having a great spirit can be seen as a manifestation of one's spiritual growth and development. So what we're going to be more looking at today is really, how do we experience spirituality? It's like, what is it? But how do we actually connect to it and experience it within ourselves? So I'm curious, you can just unmute yourself, what is your perspective on spirituality? Like when we say that person is very spiritual or I'm exploring my spirituality, what comes forth for you? What does it mean to you? What is spirituality? Go ahead, Ethel.
Oh, spirituality to me is tuning in and listening and being. That is beyond, as I'm speaking, I'm in my channel, and it's just being. And being in gratitude, and it's from within. The source isn't in the next whatever, but is within.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. There's a surrender in there. Do you hear the surrender? Yeah. Anyone else? Anything like when someone says I'm spiritual or we're exploring our spirituality or just the word spirituality, what is that for you?
I think it's for me, it's being open, open to seeing the good. It's the essence of goodness and kindness, and being open to seeing that in people around you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Sharon? Or
Oh, I don't know. I've never really thought about it, but I guess if I did, yeah, I think just being open, kindness, helping other people out, because there's a lot of people, especially this time of the year, who are suffering. And I've helped a lot of different friends with, different things in their life. Listening to someone. A lot of people don't have anybody to talk to. You can spend the time to listen to them. Just sort of being very quiet. And I think even for me, walking in the forest, now that I think more about it, and let's say I'm alone in the forest, but I don't feel alone. I'm walking alone, and I hug trees and I talk to, I don't know, the birds, the different people. When I'm in the forest, it's just, I think that's one of my favorite places. It used to be on top of the mountain. Now it's in a forest.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. So even as we're sharing what spirituality is, can you feel the stillness that's coming into our space here? Even though we're on Zoom, I feel this sense of grounding. I feel this sense of, I get little tingles in my body. I feel moved. And really I'm present. And in each one of your shares, I like your mug, Sharon, is
Yes.
is that sense of being in presence and awe.
Yeah.
And being here. So spirituality can have this feeling of being connected to a bigger energy of the universe, which each one of you shared in your own unique words. Spirituality can be called many things. It can be called God, it could be called Buddha, presence. And some people will experience spirituality through a religious practice, some through chanting, some through music, some through being in nature, some through stillness. Ethel was going inside to the stillness through the breathing, being the breath, which we've learned in our breath, and connecting to self. So then the next piece is like how. And now Sharon described for her how is being out in nature. And Carol, you described it as seeing the good in things around you. So spirituality and being present in who we are as spirit is not something we turn on or off. It's something that we live in the moment of every day. And when we are present in that moment of every day, we have that ability to exquisitely be an expression of one universal spirit. So when we are being present, when we're operating from love, from kindness, from being of service, we are acting on behalf as universal spirit. So when we feel connected to this energy, this is when we feel most happy. Now, can we feel sad and happy at the same time? Can we feel grief and joy at the same time? You bet your booty we can.
Yeah.
We can feel the grieving and sadness of missing a loved one, but also feel that joy and divine deep love of having been with them. So the most common thread then is that spirituality is really the connection to the divine that is felt through love. And that is what each of you described, again, in your own unique way. There is love in your voices. There is love in your energy. There was love in the connection as you shared what is spirituality. So spirit is within you when you feel inspired. Spirituality is alive within us when we are inspired. So when we experience these moments of awe and inspiration, even when we're feeling sadness and grief, there's an awe in there of how deeply you can feel, how deeply you can love someone that you feel this longing, this missing. So, you know, a part that confuses, that where we can get confused, is that we are spiritual beings having a huge human experience. And that leaves us confused much of the time, because we often think of ourselves as humans having seeking spiritual experience. And this is exactly what I think, Ethel, you were alluding to in your share. So spirituality is the spirit of being alive, spirit of aliveness, spirit of joy, spirit of transformation, spirit of the future, spirit of community, which is, again, each one of you said that in your way. Sharon alluded to spirit of community. So when you are somatically, soma is the body, when you're surrendered to what wants to happen, you will feel moved, tingly, teary. And when we are somatically connected to what is supposed to happen, something happens in our body. There's this surrender to what is, to opening and allowing and surrendering to what is. Because spiritual energy, it belongs to no one and everyone, all at the same time. So this brings us to our first key today, in terms of, we have 3 keys that we're going to share. And our first key number 1, is cultivating a regular, or having a regular practice that cultivates your connection to spirit. And when we look at the people that we consider most awake in this world, maybe we think of the Dalai Lama, we think of all these different spiritual guides, we think of, you know, these teachers, the Maharishi, different people, that they all had a regular spiritual practice. And so we can practice spirituality and connecting to the self, right? Because spirit comes through the body. It's felt in the body first. We have meditation, we have breath work, being in nature, being in flow state, right? Flow state is when you're so engrossed in something, time passes. Your most creative self, you're most inspired in it. Like you could be in the garden for hours because you're in the flow state creating. It can be music, it can be art. For me, it's being in nature. You know, can my body run for 4 hours? No, but my spirit can run for 4 hours. I might feel it the next day, but I'm in flow state. So we want to look at look at things like meditation or coming into the body through things like breath work, through setting up a location that's peaceful or sacred. Maybe it's a place in your home that you can walk into that space and you set it up with things that have deep meaning for you. Maybe there's crystals there. Maybe there's some loved ones that have transitioned. Maybe there's candles. There's maybe some mala beads or beautiful tablecloth. You know, this would be a space of ritual. It can be, for me, when I go into nature and I hike up in the mountains, I like to sit on rocks, because when I sit on the rock, I feel like I'm not in nature, I am nature. As Sharon said, hugging a tree, the vibration of the tree, I'll hug a tree and I'll literally sit there and breathe and be the tree.
Mm.
So whatever it is for you, we want to find something where on a regular basis you're connecting to that. I have a 10-minute practice that I do in the morning. I wake up, I give gratitude, I do some breathing before I get out of bed. And then I go into my living room and I do some movement, connect to my body and breath work, and I state my intentions every morning without fail. Even if, I'm traveling, I'm in a hotel room with somebody else, I do it quietly. Or I go outside, but without fail, I do it. It anchors me and it grounds me, and it takes seconds, minutes, I'll say it takes minutes. So when I look back on my life where I was most challenged and confused, it's when I wasn't connected to source. And I can look back now knowing that difference now of what was going on for my life. And a turning point for me was when I met this couple, and there was something about them. They'd taken on the care of their nephew, who was very little, like our kids were like grade 1 and 2. They were littles. But I loved standing by these people, when we do the drop off at school. I would see the husband or the wife or them together, and I just wanted to go and be by them because there was an energy about them. And it turned out they were transcendental meditation teachers, so we call it TM. And I was seeking at that time. I didn't even know I was seeking, right? I just knew there was something else. I wasn't fully fulfilled. Life wasn't bad, but I wasn't super happy. And when I thought other people had things easier, right? I was all backside of the model. And then as I started to talk to them, I'm like, what is it about these people? Well, it turned out they were like second and third to the Maharishi, which is huge, high up there in the transcendental meditation. They taught John Lennon how to meditate, Paul McCartney how to meditate, Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, these guys worked. And they also went into the dregs in Russia, where all they could have was lemon water and grass for nourishment, and taught people how to do transcendental meditation. So I didn't realize that I was onto this massive gift in the moment until I got to know them. But when I adopted the practice, my whole family learned how to do TM. And it changed the dynamics of our family hugely. And TM was beautiful. It worked until it didn't. TM is very structured. You have to do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. Wow. I mean, I was a busy person, and doing 20 minutes at 5 o'clock at night uninterrupted with my kids was next to impossible. And so I started to get frustrated. And so I stopped. And then life shifted again because I became disconnected. And when I met my second spiritual coach, she's the one that showed me, well, there's different things you can do to connect to source. So there's more than one way, and it's really about finding that way that moves you and connects you. And so do any of you have a practice or technique that you use that sort of connects you to your source or to you? Does anyone have anything they do on a regular basis? Go ahead, Ethel. Yeah.
And of course, I have it all. I'm a TM practitioner, but the most recent thing for me is my drumming. And so I drum to the four corners every morning. And I use toning with my voice.
Mm.
So I'm toning my chakras. And when I have the vibration of the drum and the vibration of my voice, the space between the next drum and the next voice is sacred and still. And so that for me, I mean, there are many, I light my candles and give thanks to the angels. I have my, my system thanking the universe, live from my soul, lead from my heart, choose what I attend to, and go forward in life and accept responsibility for my actions.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it's really a newly found place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So what you're doing is setting up a container for yourself to come back home to self and to go within to the presence. Beautiful. So one of the things that people will say is that I don't have time, right? Because it's like, wow, this takes time to do this. And I'm just going to share with you and invite you to join me for something called an inner ease technique. You may have heard of it. It's through HeartMath. And it takes 90 seconds. So I'm going to invite you just to put your hand on your heart. And you can do this with eyes open or eyes closed. I'm going to close my eyes and you can choose. The moment you put your hand on your heart, it brings your energy from your head down into the heart, and it will stimulate that feel-good hormone, oxytocin. And I just invite you now to breathe in and out of your heart. And as you breathe in love, ease, and compassion. Breathe in love, ease, and compassion. And if it feels right, you breathe in love, ease, and compassion. And as you exhale, love, ease, and compassion. Receiving on the inhale, love, ease, and compassion. Exhaling, love, ease, and compassion. Now just gently coming back into the room. And that was 90 seconds. So we already started to ground through our shares. But I'm curious if you notice just in that 90 seconds of just coming back home to your body, hand on heart, brings you from your head down to your heart, how you felt, how you feel now. You can just unmute and share. It's a nice small group. Go ahead, Carol.
Just calmer, and my head is not so busy.
Yeah. So this may be a place for you to go as you're processing what's happening in your life, to come into the body. And you can choose what you want to breathe in and breathe out. You can create your own words. Yeah. So the next time you feel thrown off or you feel that you want to connect into spirit, you can just do this. And you can do it with eyes open, so you can do it anywhere, anytime. Hand on heart. So key number 2 is about being in the now. And this is really what we've been talking about, right? Is being present, fully present. So when you are 100% present, you cannot not be but in wonder and awe. And what that means is we're not the then or the not the will be. Now is eternal. It will never not be now. So when we get gobsmacked by the future or the past, what happens is we forget that we are right here, right now. And so deepening in our work of spirituality into living an authentically spiritual life, it's the practice of being in the present, of being in wonder and awe. I'd like to share a picture with you. So I was on the ski hill last week, and the sky looked like this.
Wow.
It was this sphere of rainbows. And everyone, you could hear, you could hear the awe and the wonder as we looked up, and we could just see this incredible sphere of rainbows. It was amazing. Now, there's a chemical explanation to what creates that, but nature still created it, right? It was incredible. And then recently in November, I did a trip to a place called Bryce Canyon. Has anyone heard of Bryce Canyon?
Yeah.
So, it's a canyon. So you're walking on this flat surface, right? And all you see is flat. You can see that there's a hole up ahead. And then you get to the edge, there's a fence there. And you see this. And you can literally hear as people are walking, da, 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 and then you hear this, oh, what's that? And you look down in this canyon of these spires and the light coming through. I mean, awe and wonder. You literally, you just can't even speak because it's so miraculous. So this is Bryce Canyon. It's close to, it's in Utah.
It's Utah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's absolutely incredible. You hike down and you hike all around. So you're in it. It's like you're in a space movie, truly. You feel like you're on some other planet. It's quite spectacular. So it's being in wonder and awe. And even things like the sunset and sunrises can leave us in wonder and awe. Has anyone heard of the sunning practice? The sunning practice is when you get up in the morning and the sun is rising and the sun is low enough that you can look to the sun and not damage your eyes. But what happens is when you look to the sun, I add breath work to it, it's actually stimulating oxytocin and vitamin D into your body. And what it's doing is that's right into the pineal gland. And what it's doing is it's actually activating the circadian rhythm. So we are in nature, and sun is activating our own nature within us. So it's like the natural world and humanity, we are one and the same. So I invite you to be in wonder and awe of things that give you goosebumps. And to stop for a moment and pause in the beauty and the beauty of being alive. So does everyone have a glass of water? That I forgot to mention at the very beginning. Great. Yes. So with you, Ethel, you'll take the lid off so you can look into the water then, if you don't have a glass. That's okay. We can do this. You can imagine. You can look at my glass, right? So lift up your glass and just be in the awe and the beauty of water. It is clear. It reflects light. It cleanses. It makes things grow. It creates beauty like streams and waterfalls. We can swim in it. We can wallow in it. We can wash ourselves in it. We can drink it. Water. What an amazing thing. Now put your glass down and just dip your finger a little bit in the water and touch your other hand. And feel the water going into your skin. Feel the water nourishing you and feel the water communing with you. Feel what it's like to be wet, like the glory of dancing in the rain. Now pick up your glass of water again and breathing the intention into your water of having an exquisite rest of your day that is filled with miraculous wonder and awe in life. And intend that you will be connected with wonder and awe and put that intention into the water. And then you may drink the water and embody your intention. Carol's like, I just put my finger in the water. And as you drink the water, taste the magnificent experience of drinking water. Beautiful. Being in wonder and awe. There are other things that you can do to be in wonder and awe. You can make an intention that today I'm going to be in wonder and awe of the color blue. And everything that is blue, the sky is blue, car that is blue, clothes that are blue, just be in wonder and awe of the color blue. It can be very simple, and that is the beauty of this. It is very simple. Awesome.
I painted my kitchen blue
You painted your kitchen so you can be in wonder and awe of the color blue.
every time I'm in my kitchen.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Okay. So key number 3. Whoops. Let me share my screen. So you are looking at key number 3 with me. Our final key for today is about connecting with your allies. Now, this is an interesting one because we talk a lot about we are all one. We are pure consciousness. There is no separation. And we do have a spirit team that we can call on for support. These messages from our spirit team come in through our body, which is what connects us all as one. Now, when we are asking or calling from support, it's important that we ask for it. We want to be asking for help because we have free will. Our spirit allies cannot help us unless we ask. So when I hike in the woods alone, I actually invoke on my angels of safe travel. Because sometimes I get in my head and I hear a critter and I'm like, okay, call in my little cherubs, I call Archangel Michael, I call whoever I feel like, and I ask to support me in having a safe and peaceful hike. You can invoke angels of safe passage. And particularly if you are in moments of dark times, you can invoke on your spirit team, your spirit angels, your spirit guides, to support you in navigating with freedom and ease, or with ease and grace. So I started doing this in my dark moments, in moments where in my life where I didn't know what to do. And I felt it in my body. So in this particular key, there isn't a lot of scientific evidence that calling on our spirit guides makes a difference, right? There's scientific evidence when we talk nice to water, the water molecules change, right? Or vice versa. There's scientific evidence that meditation shifts our DNA. But what I do know is that when I call on my spirit guides, I might call again on Archangel Michael, Raphael, Shakti, Sharma. I might call on the Mother Mary, the different Marys, Mary Magdalene. I might call on past loved ones to give me safe passage, to guide me, tell me what is my next best move. Mm-hmm. To make I always call on them before I do a masterclass and ask for love and guidance for the greatest good. But what I know is that I feel calmer and I feel more supported in my body. And therefore it works, whether it's a placebo or not, I don't care. When I call on my spirit guides and my ally, I feel better. And when you're asking a question, the answers may come in words. Keep going. I've heard. You've got this. Yes, that's the right direction for you to move in. Time to rest. It might come in images, and it might come in a feeling in the body. Typically, messages from our spirit self, they come through our body. So it comes in gut instinct, intuition. They talk to us first through feelings. Has anyone been practicing yeses and nos in their body? I think we taught this somewhere in April. You know, I ask that a lot. I'll sit there and I'll go, you know, I'll say, show me a yes, and I'll feel what a yes feels like. I typically go forward. Show me a no, kick back, and I'll feel constricted. And then I'll ask, you know, is this decision the best thing for the greatest vibrational outcome? Yeah. You need to be asking a question that's a yes or a no. And my body tells me. Sometimes if my head doesn't get the answer I want, I might ask it again. You know, is this cake the best thing for the highest vibrational outcome? No, what do you mean? Let's try that again. What if I have a small piece of cake? Not the best thing for that. Okay, what if there's only one glass of wine? Okay. But you can ask, right? And open and expansion, constricted and closed. So asking in your body and listening to that gut instinct and trusting, you know, when you look at the indigenous people, for example, they believe that spirit has the answer and spirit brings the answer into the body. And that's why they do so many chants and different rituals to support connecting to the spirit guides. So as we just have a couple of minutes left, I just wanted to share a couple of practices that I use to stay connected. One is what I do at night. You know, I do lie in bed and I know that each day I do the best I can. That I've done what I could for that day. When I live from the best intention, and maybe that day required 2 naps, right? Doesn't mean I'm productive and, going. It's like what I did was enough. What I did today was enough. What I'm proud of, what I accomplished. I focus on feeling satisfied versus what I didn't do. I didn't do this. I've got to do. If that comes, just write it down. That's for tomorrow. But at the end of each day, practice that sense of, I've done enough. I've done all that I could. I gave what I could give and feel satisfied with that. And then when I get out of bed in the morning, I do what I shared earlier, is that I breathe. I give great gratitude for at least 3 things. And then I get up into my morning practice. Another practice that I do is before I head into any conversation and meeting, especially ones that might be difficult or challenging in whatever way, is that I set the intention of who I am showing up. And Ethel shared that in her practice of be. Who am I? Be present, be clarity, be support, be love. A friend of mine has a lot going on in his work, and he said, "It's just so busy." And I said, but you bring clarity. So I said, if all you do is stand and you point that person to go that way and that person to go that way, I said, you bring clarity. When you're grounded, you bring clarity. So be clarity. Nothing to prepare. Nothing to do, just be clarity. So for probably the first time in 10 months, I got through my entire plan. That's a win. I did have extra in case. We got through all 3 keys. So I would love to hear from you, your biggest takeaway, or if there was an aha, or what you're taking into your day today. Go ahead, Ethel.
Something you, oh, sorry.
No,
Yeah, go, Carol.
ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead, Carol.
Please go,
Just
Carol.
something that you said that really resonated, it sits right, is talking about spirituality. It's the essence of being connected to the universe. And I think that just, if you feel that and open yourself to feel that, to connect to the universe, that's you being spiritual.
Beautiful.
Living in the
Thank you.
moment.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just like the way you said it.
Landed. Awesome. Ethel.
Well, I have always little pink clouds around pertinent or meaningful things. And what the first one was conscious awakening. It's a mountain without top. To me, the moment and
Beautiful. Thank you. Sharon.
Yeah, it's interesting when you were talking about the spirit angels. I think you mentioned those a while ago. Wow, have I been using that? And I'm even telling other people, because I live out in Ladner and there's a lot of driving problems in my life because I'm always in the car trying to get to the tunnel, etc. So whether it's that or something else that is difficult or challenging, I've started calling in, I don't have any name, these spirit angels while I'm driving in the car. And like, I'm really into it. And you know what? Most of the time when I call them in, or if I'm even mulling over some problems in the car when I'm sitting, I don't know, so far they have come in all the time. And like, even when I'm trying to get to like a specialist appointment, oh my God, you got me through. I got it. Then you found the parking spot for me. And so I really rely on these. Like, I know sometimes it might not work. I have to realize that. So I tell other people if they're having a problem, just call in your angels. And that saying you gave us, not my circus, not my clown. Oh, do I use? Oh my goodness. I'd given that out to a lot of my friends and they go, where did you get that? I use that a lot. And also too, every night before to bed, I am relaxing more, not doing stuff late. I actually plan my next day, but I leave it open. Things can change, which they do in my life. But at least when I wake up in the morning, I do, while I'm in bed, these stretching exercises. And I have new ones from your studio, by the way, from Brenda. Oh, it's fabulous. I do those. And I thought, oh, I feel really good, have my breakfast, or even if I'm in a hurry, I just check because I have a little diary book. Oh, okay. You know what? At least I know what direction I'm going in the day. I don't like to have, I want to know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm organized, sometimes things change. And I think that has made, I mean, I still got a long way to go, but I think that has made some changes. But boy, the best one of those spirit angels, I just love them.
Beautiful.
Know what I do without them.
That's so
Interesting.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, thank you, ladies, for being here with me. I am forever grateful for each one of you and for being here and being in this conversation together. I appreciate you all. I love you all very much. And I'm here for you. I will send out a link to just book a little one-on-one with me, 30 minutes, and just to have some intimate time together. And I wish you all a most beautiful day.
Thank you, Linda.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful.
And I just have a question for you, Linda. If we want to do your 3-day